Yesterday, I had talked about needing to make some new containers for my. Let me lift this one up over here. These little storage boxes that I make. These sit to my one side, and this is my current day journal, my sketchbook, my handwritten book for sales and what's in the shop and everything like that, and then my new day journal, which I'll show in a little bit. But you can see it's just made out of cardboard and covered with brown paper. Nothing super fancy. And I put together two last night. You can kind of see I pulled the tape off of this one and left the tape on this one because I wanted to show you when I glue these together, because I just put these together using tacky glue. I wanted to make sure that certain pieces stayed stuck together. So masking tape with cardboard, it's super easy enough. It's not that big of a deal. But I pulled this one off because I wanted to get some measurements, because my thoughts are always like, well, I'll make a pattern out of it. And I did make a pattern yesterday, but here's the thing I'm realizing, because when I'm sitting down and I'm doing something, I can make decisions on the fly and change things around, and it's not that big of a deal because I am who I am. And if we can see here, let me raise this up just a little bit. The lighting's a little weird here. Okay, if we're looking at the bottom of this, you can see this front piece is glued to the outside of the box, the bottom of the box. And then I've got this one piece of the side that's glued to the side of the bottom of the box. And then back here, I've got the back of the box, which is glued to the outside. So I've got these two outside pieces and this one outside. And then when I was gluing everything together, you can see, well, wait a minute. I'm gonna need to take some off the bottom here so this fits, because of course this piece was cut bigger. And in true fashion, because I like to make these a little sturdier, I took 2 layers of corrugated cardboard and put them together. With one, like this side, this one has, you can easily see the corrugation is running horizontal. This one I just did them both horizontal because I'm lazy. And then the piece that I'll glue on this side has the corrugation running vertical. That's just to play off. I mean, this is a recycled material. It's riddled with acid. And in the production of making these, this isn't built to last forever. So I play off these strengths of the corrugation going this way and the corrugation going this way, and when I put them on top of each other, the chances of it bowing are less, because I've got one pulling one direction and one side pulling the other direction. And I've talked about that before. Now, as I was putting this together, I'm thinking, well, I'm making this specifically for my books, which I make myself. And I thought, well, I'll go ahead and just scale up a version. And it's like, well, it's not that huge of a deal. I can do that. Although it is Saturday morning and my brain just does not want to do math right now. There's a part of me that's like, I make this look easy. It's like, oh, this is too big. I'm going to break out my knife and I'll cut it down. If you are not me, you're not going to know how to fix things that are wrong with a pattern. Does that make sense? I mean, and I'm not working with like super high-tech stuff. You know, this and cardboard. This is what I'm working with. This is not expensive stuff. So I'm kind of debating over whether I want to even put a pattern out, because of course my patterns never do very well. No one, I think in the entire time that I've sold patterns, I've actually sold 2 in my entire time of making patterns. So, you can let me know in the comments whether you would like me to put out a pattern, if this is something that you would be interested in. And it wouldn't be an expensive pattern. It'd be like a $2 pattern. Frankly, it's not going to be that expensive. However, I'm not sure. I'm having one of these, I'm calling these my Elizabeth moments. Because I have these two sides of myself as a creator. I have the Elizabeth sides, my fraternal grandmother and my maternal grandmother Wilma, and they work in concert. It's Elizabeth that comes up with, what can I make out of this? And it's the Wilma side of me that's like, okay, we need to cut it this way. We need to cover it this way. We need to hide this mistake here. We need to make it look neat and tidy. We need to add all the flourishes and the details. And it's the Elizabeth side that's a little bit more like, I got a whole bunch of this. What can I do with it? And I'm just going to start cutting and putting things together. The Wilma side is the one saying, pull out your ruler and make sure you measure it. Make a pattern of it so you can do it again. The Wilma side of me uses the triangle. the Elizabeth side of me doesn't do that. In fact, it's the Wilma side of me that put the tape here, because I took 2 pieces of board and I'm going to just glue them on the sides and then just flip it and cut it once it's dried. The Wilma side made me do that. The Elizabeth side would have just had me glue down one piece, wait for it to dry a little bit, cut it off, put on the other one. So it's kind of an interesting sort of back and forth between those two female creator sides within me. So let me know if you'd even want a pattern, because I can scale this up to something that's more like a magazine size. Or just go ahead and say, screw it, I'm going to put out just this little tiny one, because it's good for all kinds of little things that you need to hide in there. It's one of the things I loved about living in Finland. It's like everything looks so calm on the surface, but I was going to say, open up any Finn's cupboards and you're going to find messes upon messes. They're just really good at making sure they're encapsulated somewhere in it with a veneer of smoothness and tranquility on top of it. Because, you know, Finns and Nordic people are a lot more complicated than one might think if you're looking at stereotypes. So let me know what you think, because I'm gonna go ahead and glue these on. And when I say glue these things on, this is basically just me, some glue it on, weight it down for a minute, and then cut it out. I may use some tape to hold it down. It's not that big of a deal. Also, I should point out, the reason I always cut my tape, that's a Wilma side, because I have this thing, I don't like how any kind of tear looks on like toilet paper or paper towels or tapes. I need it to be a straight line. It can be crookedy. I mean, like, doesn't have to be perfectly perpendicular, but I don't like it. So that's a peek inside my 2 grandmothers duking it out inside my head. Thank you, patrons, for making all of this possible. Let me know what you think, and I will see you in the next video.